What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Chopping Block, your Ballsville Guillotine podcast, with myself, Sklem, aka Big Smelly, aka still alive in at least one league. Sitting here with my good buddy, C-Bomb, aka unfortunately still alive in all three leagues. Yeah. How you doing, Connor? How was your weekend?
Doing pretty good. I got roped on the last Cowboys, pump block play that I'm sure everybody's going to be talking about tomorrow. So
I know. I can't believe how that played out. I mean, it was typical Cowboy type scenario to have happen, right? Like it straight Leon led that whole situation. It was great. I mean, as a self-proclaimed Cowboy hater, I've never been a fan of them, and it's nice to see that kind of stuff happen from time to time. And even Cowboy fans are laughing at that one because it's not like they want to win at this point in the season. So,
I mean, they still had a shot. I mean, I think they still had a shot, because they were like 5-8, or I don't even know, but whatever it was a long shot.
5-8 now. I think they were 5-7. If I'm
5-7, yeah. So they've been 6-7. Regardless, yeah, I think you're probably right. They had a long shot to making it anyway, so they probably want the better pick. But we don't even know what the Cowboys will do with their picks. So
I think are they still mathematically alive? Like if Green Bay and I can't remember who else it is.
They're probably mathematically alive with 4 games left, right? Is it 4? 15, 16.
Yeah, well, they're 5-8, so they got 17 total.
Yeah, 4 games left. I mean, I'm probably if somebody loses out, to whoever, and they win out, which is like you said, it's very, very long shot, but mathematically probably still but I would say probably not. But if this game, I mean, they would have been, 1 game closer, especially with Washington, not looking as good as they were early season. They could probably drop a couple. Anybody like that's on the cusp of the NFC wild card. So,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I definitely I hope that Dallas looks at this loss and is like, you know what? I think it's time to just go ahead and throw in the towel on 2024 and move forward with some young players that need the experience, and then focus on trying to get built up next year with a new coach and whatever direction they're going to go. Because I think this is basically it for, what is it? Why am I blanking on his name right now? That's how important he is, because I'm not even going to remember the guy's name after the season's over. But I'm already getting a jump on that by forgetting it right now.
Who are you talking about?
Dallas's head coach.
Oh, McCarthy.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I should have pulled the old Office Space, Mick, you're not going to work here anymore. But what's up, Zoobsies? What's up, Cheeky? A couple of our regulars in here. Poor Cheeky, bro. Oh, man, dude. We're going to be talking about this one here in a minute, but poor Cheeky. It was a rough day for him, man. Jeez Louise, but really close, too. It was brutal. But either way, all right. So other than that, man, I had a pretty interesting weekend. I literally had a pretty long Sunday. I jumped in the car after going to Christmas party, mind you, on Saturday night that we did not get back from till close to 1 a.m. Woke up at 6 a.m., got dressed, grabbed everything I needed to grab, and got in the car and drove straight to SoFi. And parked at SoFi, got out of the car, went in the stadium, saw one of the most amazing games you've ever seen from the third row, jumped back in the car, drove 4 hours back home, driveway to SoFi to driveway. So very long, but very fun day. So, yeah, it was pretty epic, man. I'm not going to lie. It was a great experience. Of course, I was rocking my Ultimate Wild coat that I ordered, and I'm telling you, that was worth every penny. I felt like celebrity at a certain point in time with multiple people in line wanting photos. I'm like, dude, I'm not anybody special. I just happened to buy this coat online. You can order it yourself if you want. but hey, it was still a great time, man. And so, little trick of the trade for you guys: if you ever go to SoFi Stadium, if you sit in the 120 section on the, basically the first level on the field level, there is a spot that you can walk down. Now you actually are sitting, basically it would be considered like the second floor pretty much of the house, right? So you'd be sitting on a balcony watching the game. You're not actually field level when you're in the front row. But if you walk downstairs, basically one level, they have a spot there that anybody can walk to, and every quarter they empty out 80 people and let 80 new people in for the next quarter. And it is field level, right? Literally like 6-7 yards from the end of the end zone, just behind the goalpost. And it's basically like a bar top height bar kind of that you can just stand at and basically be right there behind the action. So it was really, really awesome spot to be. So basically, if you have the opportunity, buy a ticket, even if it's at the top of that 120 something section, and walk your way down there for at least one quarter. It was worth it. So
that's pretty cool
for you. Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. I noticed it last time we were there, so we made sure to figure out how we could get our way onto that area this time around. And we spent the whole third quarter standing there with Buffalo heading our way, and Khalil Shakir came running almost right at us for that touchdown. So it was pretty epic, man.
Cool. I bet that was cool for you, but I'm sorry about the loss.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a couple of bad coaching, decisions in the end, I think basically cost us in the, that and like just pretty much letting our long snapper get bowled over on a ridiculous punt block. That, I mean, if you saw the guy, dude, he was basically on his ass when that guy was in the air blocking that punt because he got just molded right over straight ahead. I'm surprised that it wasn't a penalty, but he did a really good job of lining up off of the side of him and then basically like skipping right over to in front of him as soon as he snapped the ball. So he hit him just square in the head before he could even get his balance. So that means good play. It was a good play on his part, man. But dude,
and you let the Rams offense finally find a groove this season. This is like one of the first weeks they've looked like the old Rams.
Yeah, so. Against one of the top secondaries so far this season too. I mean, I'm not just being a homer by saying that. Buffalo have really been good at the limiting passers for the season so far. I think he was by far the highest scoring passer against Buffalo this season. With the exception of maybe Lamar in the Ravens game, but I can't remember if Lamar scored.
That's not even majority passing, though. A lot of
and I think Henry got a good amount of those points in that game against us too. So I'm not sure if Lamar even scored more. But what's up, Trevor? Look at this guy over here. He said, I don't even know why we tried to win. Typical Cowboys fan, right? That's all good, brother. I feel your pain, though, man. I've been there. Shit, I spent 17 years there, by the way. I just noticed that this week watching this game. I don't know why this never struck me before, that Josh Allen's number is 17, and we spent 17-year playoff drought until we finally snapped it. I don't know if there's any, connection there. I think Josh been rocking 17 long before he knew he was going to be a Bill, so I doubt that was anything to do with it.
Now you have to change your number. Now you got to change your number to like 58 or 59 or whatever the Super Bowl drought's always going to be or something.
Oh, yeah. Ha. Good job, Connor. I feel like that was closer to a swing and a miss than a home run, but it's okay. We'll let you have it.
That's coming from a Bills fan. They don't even know what those are yet, right?
Oh, man. All right. That's enough talk about me and my Bills fandom. So let's move on to what you guys are all here to hear. The Fantasy Guillotine League regular season finale breakdown, baby. So what's going to happen, guys? So before we go crazy on what actually went down for the season, which, by the way, spoiler, very, very fun final week for Guillotine leagues. Very close matchups in quite a few of these leagues. So, but we're going to go over the playoff scenario for the teams that are remaining and how this is going to work out for you guys. So we do have the spreadsheet for you guys. So we're going to pull it up a little bit just to kind of remind you guys that there is this out there, and you guys can go check this out if you need to at any point in time. But we're going to just real quickly touch on the payout structure and the playoff rosters for you guys. So you have 22 total players. You're going to have an extra quarterback going on the roster. You're going to have an extra running back going on the roster. You're going to have, thank you, Connor, for bringing that up for me. No. You're going to have an extra receiver, an extra tight end, extra flex, basically. We're just going to go one extra player across the board, basically doubling your roster across the board. And then in the extension of the bench by 2 players. So you're looking at a total of 22 players are going to be added. So there's going to be a lot of pickups this week. But as you guys have noticed, there's a lot of depth on these waiver wires right now. So that plus the teams that you guys are going to be having the ability to add now with the teams that are going to get eliminated as the last elimination team. you're going to have no problem filling your roster. There's probably going to be plenty of good players still out on the wire, even after everybody's filled all their rosters. So, we're only talking 4 squads here. So this is going to be a really fun time for you guys, and a lot of really tough decisions when it comes down to who you're going to play. So that's going to be our playoff breakdown for you 4 teams. You are not going to be eliminated any longer. Nobody is eliminated after this point. Everybody is going to play through a 4-week structure or a 3-week structure that's basically going to be a total points for. It's not a matchup based. And what we are doing is we have for you guys on our website the score sheets for you guys. So if you scroll down on the scorecards, we have a section here for the guillotine leagues for you guys. And there's each of the 3 leagues are listed here: Sleepy Hollow, 18 Heads, Braveheart.
You're spoiling the winners.
I am spoiling the winners. I'm sorry, guys, but hey, spoiler alert! You're only going to see the winner on this one right here, which is this league. So I'm not going to go through the other 2 for you. But this is basically how it's going to work out. And each week, these totals will add up to the total. The total points at the end of the 3 weeks will be our overall champion, followed by next second total points, second, third, so on and so forth. As we go along each week, the highest score for each week will be highlighted. So we'll have a gold highlighted box for the highest scoring team. We'll have a silver highlight box for second, bronze for third, brown for fourth. As we all know, that would be considered our third team of that week. So obviously we got to go with the brown box, right? So that's going to be how we have this set up for you guys. And I'll update those for you guys as each week goes through. So that's kind of going to be the breakdown on how that works for you guys. And it's going to be a pretty interesting setup. I'm really excited, and I'm glad that I get to at least take part in one of these leagues with you guys, as you guys can see by my spoiler. So that being said on that one, let's move over. Before I jump into that, I do want to touch base with you guys on the redraft, because this is the end of the regular season in our standard Ballsville redraft leagues. We do have a breakdown that we posted for you guys. It's a nice little video that runs that will actually be running right here for you guys as you click onto the redraft game. So if you go to the homepage and click on the redraft game icon, you will be able to see this quick little video that we posted for you guys that just breaks down how that's going to work when it comes to the playoffs for the redraft. Okay. We'll have more on all that stuff for you guys on Tuesday's pod, because that is where we're going to break down all of the finales on our Ballsville games. So, Connor, is there anything you want to add on that, man? Are you excited about those playoffs since you're in all 3 leagues?
Yeah, I'm very excited about the guillotine leads, even though, you're not as going to be paying this close attention to the scores as you would be on normal guillotines, because you're not worried about getting eliminated. But, you still got to be watching the waiver wire, because you're going to be playing matchup play, because it's not going to be a best ball scenario. It's going to be, you have to set your lineup still each week. The roster sizes has gotten a little bigger. So you're going to be playing 2 QBs, 2 tight ends, which is going to be rough for a couple of people, just because, tight ends.
For everybody, tight end sucks. I mean,
exactly.
We're going to have to start 8 tight ends amongst the 4 teams. And right now, I can't even off the top of my head give you 8 tight ends I'd be happy to have in my starting roster. I can maybe go down 4, 5.
Exactly. You want Kittle, Bowers, and maybe Jonnu Smith. And then after that, it gets kind of wild. You got Kelsey, right, but he really hasn't been producing as much. You got a couple other names that you're like, yeah, I'll play them because you have to now. But, yeah, when you play 8, you're going to have 8 wide receivers or 8 tight ends across four teams is going to be kind of wild. And that's not even counting any of the flex spots, because I know a couple people have been playing tight ends in their flex spots, like Laporta or, Bowers or whoever. So we'll see how that turns out. I know a couple people have a couple decent tight ends, so they might be sitting pretty at that. But besides that, you talked about a little bit about redraft, but this is the end of the season for all, dynasty, redraft, all of Ballsville. Best ball is going to be huge these next couple of days. Not to, get off topic or anything, but like this week was huge for every single league that you were in, regardless of if it was guillotine or redraft or dynasty or best ball, anything. This week was huge. You could have, major comeback if you had Puka and CeeDee Lamb and Josh Allen.
Jamar
Jamar
Chase.
Chase. Yeah.
You know, if
Any
you
of
had
those
the Jamar
guys.
Chase Joe Burrow stack, it could have saved you
Yeah.
with garbage time. Like that punt block literally
Yeah.
changed your life.
Exactly. It saved Ken. You know, Ken's a big dynasty guy. He got saved by that punt block. He had Jamar Chase, or he had Joe Burrow. He needed like 2 points from Joe Burrow on the last like 2 minutes left or whatever, and that punt blocked out of the ball back. But yeah, there's a lot of situations that probably happened that unfolded just by this week because of the bid scoring by a bunch of players. Like I said, Josh Allen had the highest QB
Yes,
score
sir.
we've seen maybe ever.
I
Maybe
got to witness that live, by the way. And he
Peyton
had a
Manning's.
wide open Khalil Shakir on a play that would have been like another big
Yeah.
potential like gainer, dude. Would have probably put him over 400 yards through the night, honestly, and maybe even another touchdown on that drive because it was a drive killer play where he tried to throw it to Mari Cooper, but Khalil Shakir is wide open in the middle of the field, man.
Maybe
So,
Peyton Manning's 7 touchdown game and 6 point per passing touchdown leads might have topped it. I'm not sure. I would have to actually look at the score for that. But I mean, that's the only one I can even think of off the top of my head that would even come close to that. So, that Puka, Jamar Chase, both over 40. Jordan Addison, I think, had 40 or at least 39. And then you had a bunch of guys with 30. You had Justin Jefferson and people like that. So.
Yeah, it was a crazy week, man. Especially being that there was all these guys on bye weeks too. Like Cheeky brought up but I can't even say that. But by apocalypse, over here. So like that's basically what it felt like for a lot of teams. And then you had, on top of that, you had guys that did have their studs getting, maximum value from them. It was just a rough week for a lot of teams, man. So, and including our real life teams. I mean, it wasn't like I was happy to sit there and walk out of the stadium with a 2-point loss. The only thing I could say was, I'll see you guys in the playoffs. Oh, wait, you're not there yet. But that was about the only thing I had. Everything else was pretty much just head down and keep walking.
And your roster percentage of how much you have owned Josh Allen in fantasy football definitely helps you feel a little bit better.
Dude, and since I was driving in the morning, I missed quite a few leagues where I had like Pickens in, and stuff like that. So I got kind of screwed in a couple leagues, and I'm like, oh man, that might cost me like playoffs in a couple of my leagues that I was real close with. And then Josh just blew up in almost every one of them. So I think I only lost like one out of like the 3 or 4 leagues that I was up in the air for this week on. The rest of them I was either locked in or locked out, so it was just down to those few leagues. But it was pretty epic, dude, to get back in the car after that game and then realize that I got pulled out of the weeds,
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, that's a great feeling watching especially, a homer guy that, you watch regardless. And when he pops off like that.
I got to watch my boy Shakir, who I've been hyping up all year, finally like prove me right by showing the world that he's got that type of ability, and I mean, he was like literally a yard and a half from 2 more touchdowns. He got a bad pass from Josh where all Josh had to do was put on his numbers and he would have been able to get in the end zone, but he had to kind of dive for it, ended up getting stopped right at like 1 yard line. And then he had another long pass that Josh threw to him where he caught it and he just fell on his ass like right at the half-yard line. And it was like, man, if he could have just kind of like kicked himself backwards just a little bit or stuck his ass up in the air and fell onto his shoulders or something, he was in the end zone, So I mean, like the guy was right. And then the one I mentioned, the one that he was wide open I'm not lying. He had a wide open field. My girl actually got video footage of the play. It's crazy how it worked out. But he was like, you could see him dead. Nobody behind him, just yards and yards of open field. So, but yeah, again, I'm not trying to go crazy on that game because, I could talk about it for hours, but
that game
was a fun one.
That game took out all the offense of the night game because the Chiefs game and the Chargers game was lacking on offense for a majority of that game too. So it took out
that didn't bother me too much since I pretty much had it like sitting on the dash of my car on my phone while I was driving back from LA.
Yeah,
which I probably should talk about. Maybe I'll get a ticket in the mail now. Oh man. All right, so let's go back over here. I don't know how this got to this part of it. I'm just getting my screens organized here for you guys so that we can talk about our first league of the day. We are going to start off today talking about 18 heads in a duffel bag because it is my favorite. I love this league, guys. I'm not going to lie. This is Definitely a fun one. So before we go crazy on what happened as far as eliminations, I know you guys can kind of tell by just looking at your screen which one of those 5 scores right there is the lowest. So I might as well just go ahead and say it. I wanted to give you a few more minutes, Cheeky, but I just can't do it. I'm sorry, brother. Cheeky Hobson, you are out of here in 18 heads in a duffel bag. You, my friend, are the last head to enter the gigantic 16 head duffel bag. 16 head duffel bag. No, 14 head duffel bag. What is wrong with me today, ladies and gentlemen? 14 head duffel bag. I even had to think about it twice and got it wrong twice. Like, come on. It's because I'm ragging on Cheeky so much. It's like that's a little bit of karma points right there coming back to haunt you right away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. So you guys can tell, too, this was an actual very, very close down to the wire situation. And I normally would not do this, but we have a little time for this episode because we have less teams to talk about. So let's see who he had going on tonight, because I do believe they each had a player playing tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
TB had Rico, and then Cheeky didn't have anybody tonight. He needed to get past 133.
Oh, he was locked in at 133 for the night. Okay, so he was the one that was locked down then. And yeah, he ended up needing that from Rico, and then Rico pulled it out for him at the last minute. It got him literally 3 points to victory. So even though Dallas didn't give themselves a victory, they basically hooked TV up on this one and, cost Cheeky. So we're sorry, Cheeky. We love you. You're one of our favorites. You're always here with us, but not in this league. You are not our favorite because you are not in it.
He's my favorite. Thank you, Cheeky.
And look at Cheeky giving up all these amazing players over here, or getting all these amazing players that he's going to give up with Amon Ra now. He's going to lose after 1 week. It looks like Jahmyr Gibbs went for $0. This was probably one of those scenarios where this might have been the last dollar in the league.
Actually, this is so I was working. This is the league I had the most money in, and I was working Monday and Tuesday night, and I completely forgot to put in any bids. And so I as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I messed up. I was like scared I'm gonna get eliminated because of this. It actually didn't end up turning out too bad for me. But yeah, there still is some money left in this league.
Yeah, it looks like Trevor has $3 left. He's still alive. Looks like you have $5 left.
I think that's it.
And that looks like it. By the way, just to bring it up, because he's one of the buddies, our boy Ray, who was the 760 side elimination that had like a solid ass squad, was extremely upset about his elimination. That's how much we all love doing these guillotine leagues, man. It does hurt your heart when you get kicked out of these things.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't know. I don't. How does it feel? Can you explain it to me?
All right, we're moving on. The next guy to get off the board was Isaac Garendo. We all knew that was coming, right? Derrick Henry went off the board for free too. I mean, those are 2 solid running backs that went off the board for free because somebody had to work late. Brian Robinson went off the board for free. Jaden Reed went off the board for free. Then Trevor picking up Isaiah Pacheco. I haven't paid off yet, but I do think that's gonna. This is the last week.
He dropped.
Oh, he did drop him. I do think this is the last week that Isaiah Pacheco is not the full-fledged back there.
I agree.
I think moving forward after this week and into your playoffs, I think if you have Pacheco, like it's all motors go for him for this point forward. Picking up Cooper Kupp, I love that pickup. That worked out well for him. The Aaron Jones pickup, did that work out for you? I don't know. I know there's a lot of points in that. He scored
like 18 or 19 or so. So
this is how much fantasy I was able to get involved in this week. I was literally barely able to keep myself afloat. Zay Flowers picked up. Chuba dropped. That's going to suck now that Chuba is going to be the main back moving forward.
Again.
By the way, man, pour one out for Jonathan Brooks, brother. God, I cannot believe that poor kid has got another torn ACL. Like, I feel so bad for him, man. It's like I'm like he's going to be Nick Chubb 2.0, dude. I'm going to be rooting for him like for the rest of his career now, just because I want to see him do good. Like, I feel so bad for him. Yeah. Like, do you know if it was the same knee?
I think it was.
Was it the same knee?
I think it was a retorn, yeah.
Oh God, man. I hope it doesn't come out that it was some sort of, not perfectly done surgery that created this fucking problem. That would I hope that does not come out to be the case. I would hate for that to be the case. The Zach Charbonnet pickup really paid off for you, especially since I know it's probably hard to pick him up at drop DK, but
not really.
He said not really. I love it. Oh man. So that was the guys that got picked up this week, guys. And as we talked about, this is the final week. So you can tell C-Bomb, you can tell Tortoise, you can tell Jimmy Wojo, and you can tell TB76, I hate you because you're in the playoffs and I'm not. So, congratulations. Good job, though, guys. I'm happy for you guys, man. It's awesome that you guys made it this far. And now you don't have to worry about being eliminated. All you got to worry about is scoring the most points and setting the right rosters, which that's not going to be an easy task.
Nope.
So this is going to be the players you guys are going to get to pick up in this league. Right out the gate, obviously, you got JA17, the superstar quarterback, best in football, and, going to be the best in football for the next decade. I'm just going to say it. Saquon Barkley, the next player on the board. He's another good player right now to have, another MVP potential candidate who fell a lot farther behind. Bijan Robinson, the next player off the board. All of these are solid players, guys. AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brock Bowers, Bucky Irving, and Drake London. I mean, you're looking at top performers at every single position so far this year. So with the exception of maybe Drake London, which, say that just tells you how good the rest of them are. On his bench, he had Matthew Stafford, Anthony Richardson, Ken Walker. How do you get 44 points as a team and only score 24 as a fantasy quarterback? I don't know. Cedric Tillman, I don't think anybody's going to be picking him up based on the scenario. Lad McConkey, if he comes back to play, he might be a deep roster spot. Ken Walker, DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce. So based on the tight end situation we talked about, Travis Kelce, I think will definitely.
Yeah, he would have been sitting nice. He had Bowers and Kelce if he made it past this week. He had a really good team to be eliminated. I mean, I know every team that's going to get eliminated this week is probably sitting pretty nice, but I mean, he was set. He was set at multiple positions. I mean, he had Anthony Richardson, he had Josh Allen, he had Bijan, Saquon. I mean, he had a good team, especially if he made it past this week. Like I said, I'm kind of glad he got eliminated because of how strong his team was. So
look at Trevor talking about how good the team next to it looks.
What's crazy is he had Josh Allen and still got eliminated. That's just absolutely wild.
Especially in a guillotine league in this situation. Like if that game was like the Thursday game and he got those points on Thursday and everybody else was still waiting until Sunday to happen, he would be like already celebrating, dude. He's going out on Friday night for drinks, cheers at his buddies.
Look at his score though. I mean, that's a high score to get eliminated too. 133. I don't know what the other ones are off the top of my head, but I know that one has to be up there in the higher ones to get eliminated.
I think it's the highest to be eliminated at this point.
Well, I know up to this point.
One of the other two leagues that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's up to this point is for sure, but I don't know about the other two if theirs is any higher. But I feel like
it is potentially, just off of going through them earlier. I feel like that might be the highest eliminated score, but we'll find out here in a second. So let's move into Braveheart League real quick. All right. So as you guys can see, here is your 5 teams. And again, another elimination for our friend Cheeky Hobson. Play the fiddle, my friend. You deserve it. You got kicked not once, but twice. I mean, you basically got like American History X'd, like the man should be in jail for what he did to you. This is not fair that this happened twice, but here we are. And, sometimes as your parents would tell you growing up, life's not fair.
Yeah, this is the lead. This is the lead I was sweating. This is the only lead I was even worried about coming into tonight because he had CeeDee Lamb and Joe Burrow but he still needed 61 points. But they got off to a hot start. I mean, CeeDee Lamb caught, his touchdown, and then Joe Burrow threw a touchdown, and then CeeDee Lamb caught like 4 passes, and then Joe Burrow threw another touchdown. I mean, it was looking pretty good for him, but they settled off a little bit, and I had a comfortable lead. So, but I mean, I had Jaden Reed, like you're saying, Thursday night. I had Jaden Reed score me 0 points on Thursday night. So I was coming into the week, stressing about scoring points because I knew the number was to be high. So
yeah, no, it's definitely one of those ones where I was looking at it thinking, okay, you're safe. And then I went back about halftime and just checked on the scores to see where they were. And I was like, oh, Cheeky coming on strong, man. He might have a shot at this. So I kept an eye on it for a little while. And, things kind of died down a little bit. So then I was like, okay, maybe he won't have that opportunity that I was hoping he would.
Yeah, if he had Jamar Chase instead of Lamb, then I would be, I'd be finished.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So let's take a scroll back real quick and double check what happened last week. As you can see, it's not getting as crazy anymore with the players being picked up. Even though they're great players, it's just nobody has a lot of money, and they're already so stacked that 5 or 6 players off each roster have been targeted, and most people, if they don't get those 5 or 6 or so, are just not willing. There's nobody else that's going to upgrade them, so they're just not picking up anybody.
Yeah.
Chiefs Lives 13 picked up Justin Jefferson for $6. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was a league that we discussed last week, that Chiefs Life was sitting where he could pretty much get the 2 players he wanted for $6.
Yeah, exactly. And he still has money left over, so he is sitting pretty. I'll tell you that he is sitting pretty. He has $11 left. He has nobody else with any money. He has
because Cheeky just got eliminated with the last $3.
Yeah, and so he is sitting pretty. He can pick up whoever he wants, however he wants, drop whoever he wants. He's going to get basically Cheeky's whole team and drop anybody that doesn't he doesn't want.
Well, the thing is, I mean, at this point, he's going to have the opportunity to fill so many spots. That's something that we didn't clarify that we should have so far, which, I mean, everybody kind of knows if they listen that this is the way it's going to play out, but we should talk about it too, is that each person is going to have all these extra spots now added to their roster. So there's going to be a lot of pickups where they don't have to drop anybody. So, he's going to be able to snag almost everybody off that other team for $1 and not have to really even touch any of his guys to start out.
Yeah, he can go, he has $11, so he can go put $1 on 7 of them without even touching his roster.
Yep.
And then if he has 4 guys or whatever he wants that he doesn't even want on his roster, he can go fill up a new 11 on his roster. I mean, I know before we even go over the teams, I know there's like Lamar Jackson that he's obviously going to pick up. And so it's just like guys like that you're just going to get basically for free just because you saved your money well is going to be pretty nice for Chiefs Life. He's going to be sitting in a good spot, but
and not only that, like if something catastrophic happens to one of his high-end players and he doesn't, he only, say he only wants to spend that $7 and get the 7 players that he needs to fill up his new roster spots, and he's happy with that, then he could take that into week 1. And if something happens, he still has a few more dollars for, the second week of playoffs. If an injury happens and all of a sudden a guy like Zach Charbonnet becomes, the starter for Seattle for the rest of the 2 weeks, like you can go in there and pick that guy up and for sure you're getting him, So like he's basically giving himself like not only the depth in the new rosters positions that he's adding, but he's also allowing anything for, situations like that occur to be able to cover his own butt if he needs to.
Yep. He is, like I said, he's sitting pretty. He can go do whatever he wants. The next person in the waivers with $0 is Spartan. And then the next person after that, because waivers is going to matter because everybody has $0 basically. So the next person in waivers gets their top guy basically. Besides, Chiefs Life is going to get his guys, but the next guy that Chiefs Life doesn't bid on, Spartan will get if he bids on him. And then I will go next. And then Cash will be the person after. He'll get the last pick of the grunt zeros, and then it'll reset back to 0.
Yeah. And that's if he decides to allow you guys the opportunity to do that. It doesn't want to just buy everybody that he wants to buy.
Well, I mean, he's not going to pick up everybody because there's still, like you said, there's still players on waivers that are not even picked up yet. You got Jared Goff.
players that are out there that are like not on the team right now. Yes, I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
But he's not going to get anybody that's at the level of like the top 4 or 5 guys.
Oh yeah, no, not in this league. Nope.
So yeah, so I mean, I could see him spending at up to $7. That's at least that's where I would say is the most I'm spending is $7 because I have 7 spots to fill, and that's only if there's his 7th, 6th, 7th guy is better than the top 2 guys that are on the waiver wire. And if that's not the case, then I'm not spending any money because that means my bench is probably better.
Yeah, well, we'll take a look at we'll go over this and then we'll take a look at how many people he can actually buy from Cheeky's team. So we'll see.
Exactly. Yeah. So real quick run through. Justin Jefferson went for 6. Drake London. Those were the 2 guys he decided to make sure he got. James Conner with Cheeky picked up for $1, so he'll be right back out there for you guys. And then he ended up putting $1 on Laporta to cover his Taysom Hill injury. Cheeky put $1 out on Cade. I like that pickup. Unfortunately, didn't plan out enough to keep you alive, but I did like the pickup. Jerry Jeudy picked up for $1 from Chiefs Life as well. That's panning out to be a good pickup, even though it sounds really weird to say. Dalton Kincaid picked up for free. George Pickens picked up for free. The Jordan Addison hurts to see it happen the way it did now, but I understand the move for sure.
Yep.
Jordan Love picked up, dropped Brock Purdy. Kyler Murray picked up, dropped Kirk Cousins. That's a great move. I think Kirk Cousins sat on your roster for a couple weeks too long. Zay Flowers picked up, dropped Gus Edwards. Pacheco picked up, dropped Pollard. Allen picked up, dropped Debo. Garendo picked up, dropped Marvin Harrison. Tua Tagovailoa picked up and dropped Pacheco, probably to prepare for the playoffs. So that's pretty much the basic breakdown of how that went for the league, guys. So we'll go ahead and look real quick at what you guys are going to get to pick up in the waiver wire, baby.
Don't say y'all, just say Cheeky, or just say Chiefs.
Well, hey, he's been able to see this team all week, so he knows exactly who he's going to be able to pick up because he's been watching them score points against him. Yep. He's got Joe Burrow, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irvin, Calvin Ridley, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brock Bowers, CeeDee Lamb, James Conner, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon, Lad McConkey, Cortland Sutton, Nico Collins, Cade Otton. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out a bold prediction that he's definitely paying at least $7 because I see $1 here. I see $1 here. I see $1 here. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could do 8 even.
Yeah, he might leave Burrow or Lamar, or he might pick them up both. I don't know. But he already has Jalen Hurts, and I believe he has another decent quarterback behind him. If you scroll down just a tad, I think he has. Oh, maybe not.
No, he has no other quarterback.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, he might pick them up. He's probably gonna pick them up both. But like you said, that would be $8. I would see him using all $8. Especially, I mean, $3 back with nobody else having any money is still a lot. So,
oh yeah, he's plenty fine with that. That gives him the opportunity to pick up 3 necessary additions if injury happens. He's not going to need that more than that for 2 weeks. If that's the case, then there's a tire fire happening. But that's definitely basically going to be Chiefs Life's extra 7 players on his roster. And I mean, looking at his bench right here, I can see him dropping like a DJ Moore to get that 8th player and pay the $1.
I mean, maybe even Judy. I mean, he could maybe. If Brees Hall doesn't come back, I would drop Brees Hall. But if he comes back, I'm not dropping him. Obviously.
I mean, do the Jets even want to rush him back at this point for the rest of the season? I mean, he might, if he's even hey, let's just let him get healthy for next year and move into that season at this point because
but you would hate to be the person that drops Brees Hall and he goes off for 30 for the next 2 weeks too. So I mean, Brees Hall is not a guy that you're not talking about any more Jets, okay? We're not letting you talk about Jets. We're not dropping Jets just because.
We shouldn't be letting you talk about Jets since you got so much love for that green squad. I don't understand why.
Dude, I don't. It just sounds like that because you're like, oh yeah, you have to drop Brees Hall. Last week it was, you have to drop Garrett Wilson. It was just like, it's like every single week you're like, you have to just drop them. They don't even need to be on a roster.
I'm just saying, man. I wouldn't trust having a Jet in there. He's already got 2 of them on this roster. Why do you want to keep both of them? Oh man. Anyway, that's enough about the Jets. We've already spent too much time on them. 30 seconds is too much time on the Jets, but let's move on.
Trevor makes a good point before we get off that. Before we get off that lead, Trevor makes a good point. He said he'd be playing keep away. So since he has that money, he wants to keep everybody else from picking up a second good QB or a second tight end or anybody else like that. So he can use his money not just for his own volition, like you're saying, drop Brees Hall, but you don't want to drop Brees Hall because if somebody else picks him up and he goes off for 30, you really don't want that to happen. So you want to keep it away from other players as well.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. It makes a lot of sense, especially we've talked about it a little bit here, but the tight end position, man, like going into these playoffs, having to start 2 tight ends, even though there's only 4 teams, there's the tight end position is really, really slim right now. Like having a guy that you're comfortable knowing you can start without a problem, right? There's 4, maybe 5, and that's it. The rest of them are, week to week, matchup. They've done well, but you can't sit there and put them in and go, yeah, I'm definitely going to be okay having this guy in my starting spot. So, knowing that there's 8 starting tight ends for every team out there, like that's a position that could potentially be like a difference maker for the champion if they got 2 that score well.
Here's some names that are in the top 10 TEs that you might, Cade Otton, Mark Andrews, Tucker Kraft, Zach Ertz, and then number 11 is Hunter Henry. Like those are not guys that before the season you were just like, yeah, or Mark Andrews was, but he really at the beginning of the season was just horrible. So I don't really know if you're comfortable playing him every week just because of how he started. But those other guys, like you weren't even thinking about them at the beginning of the year.
Jonnu Smith, man. I mean, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, Jonnu Smith. But Jonnu Smith is
fire for people.
Yeah, he's been on fire for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. He's one that I would assume you're probably comfortable playing. But like Cade Otton, your Tucker Crafts has not really produced much. He was producing early. Your Zach Ertz, your Hunter Henrys, your Pat Freiermuth, those guys are not producing every single week. I mean, they barely have cracked 130 points. So
yeah, exactly. It's been a really weak position this year, which it's funny because it seems like the last couple of years we've gone into the tight end like this is going to be the year, man. The tight end position's finally going to come back to life. We're going to have more than at least one guy. And nope, that's it. Back to the square one again with tight end, it feels like. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. With the exception of Brock out here just kicking ass, taking names, like nobody else is like putting themselves up to that level. So we might be right back to the same situation again where we just got the one tight end kicking ass.
It's just Kittle. I mean, Kittle has been, producing every single week too.
Basically, so
it's Kittle and Bowers, and then maybe McBride if you want to throw him in there because he's had, pretty consistent about 10 to 15 points. But besides that, then everybody else is just like, Vincent tore his ACL, I believe.
Oh, he did.
Oh, or maybe not. Or no, that's Eric All. That was the other one. Vincent, he's just, he's not playing.
He's behind Ertz right now. I think they're basically taking the let him learn from Ertz approach. The kid's athletic, but he's just not understanding the game to that level yet, and he needs a little more time. So I'd still keep my eye on him in Dynasty, but I don't know if I'd roster him early in the season next year without getting some sort of sign of something the first few weeks. So, anyways, let's move on from Ben Sinnott. So the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. We have myself, the only league I am left in, my Ichabod Crane team survived. Highest scoring team of the week, by the way, everybody. I do like to bring that up since it is my only team. And as you can see, Connor is still alive in this one also.
Barely. This one came closer than I thought it was going to too. Because TB was down there. I thought TB was going to get eliminated. He ended up passing me, and then Headless Horseman was at 141, which is that's higher than the other one. The other one was at 133. That's the highest.
Exactly. Yeah. Cheeky. It looks like your Braveheart team is the third team of the week, and I'm not even going to take too much time to rag on you for it because you've already felt enough pain, and I don't want to do that to you. So we won't even bring that up too much. But we do want to talk about the fact that we are losing B. Bennett in this league. And my friend, you did a great job maneuvering yourself. You were able to make sure you got the guys you wanted. And it did not help you at all because you are gone out of here last team eliminated, on the doorstep, standing outside the fort, listening to everybody laugh and have fun and looking at the girly magazines, and you're stuck outside the fort because you are just not cool enough, man. You can't be in the fort for the playoffs. Ha ha.
Yeah, that sucks for him too. He had 3 tight ends that you would consider playing on his roster.
Yeah, he had a good squad, man.
Yeah.
I honestly did not think after he set himself up the way he did that he was going to be the one to get eliminated this week. I was just basically kind of penciling him in, before the week started. The fact that it actually ended up being him, like you said, it was a shocker because once I got to the point where I was so far ahead, I didn't really focus too much on this league. I was so busy with everything else going on. I didn't even think twice about it, going crazy into the leagues until today. And I was like, oh, okay, it looks like he's going to be all right. And then, like you said, TB just comes out of nowhere with like a killer game.
Yeah.
And let's double check and see what it was that brought him to life tonight, because
it had to be Chase, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. He had Jamar getting him the 45 points, dude. Like, that's unbelievable, man. Like, you go into that game with that one player and you're like, yeah, crap. Like you think you're toast, right? And then all of a sudden, like the heavens open up and the angel music starts playing, and this ball just falls into Jamar Chase's arms with a minute left for a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, what a comeback for sure. How much did he beat him by? 12. So how many points did he? I guess he beat him before that last touchdown, right?
I don't know, man, because that last touchdown was quite a bit of points.
40,
it was
4
plus the pass.
4 6 and 1. So he only scored 11, right? 4 6 and 1.
Actually, let's see something. We might be able to look this right here and see. Oh, it doesn't tell us on here the last score of the matchup.
I think it was
does on the phone.
4 6 and 1. I think it's 11. I'll have to. Let me see.
If it was 11, then I guess that wouldn't be as painful, because you would already have known by that point that you're Toasty McToasterson. Unless of course Jamar caught another pass or two on that drive prior to that touchdown. I didn't really pay too much
That was like the first play. Wasn't that like the first play of that drive?
Right after the pump block? It could have been.
Where's it at?
Well, while you're looking that up, we'll go over these real quick. Alvin Kamara was picked up for $1. That's who one of the guys Bennett decided he wanted to make sure he got. Terry went to Trevor for $1, and then he was able to snag Kittle for $1 because that was Trevor's last $1. So he basically allowed Trevor to get the guy he wanted for his $1 because he wanted to make sure he got a couple other guys and he was okay letting that guy go. So he got Kittle and he got Amon-Ra for his $1. And then Ken Walker, I picked up Walker. TB picked up Rico. B. Bennett also got Nico, which was one that snuck by me. I was a little frustrated because, again, I got snagged by the bye week guy who wasn't sitting at the top of the projections. Don't let that happen to you guys, okay? That's a rookie mistake, and I did it twice this year, and it pisses you off every single time you do it. Chuba Hubbard got the next guy picked up. Sam Laporta was the next guy off the board. What a pick up there for you, huh? Khalil Shakir. Nice snag.
Yeah, I needed that one. I think I actually ended up playing him too. So
yeah, I was a little upset because I ended up picking up Ken Walker up here, and then I was like, oh crap, I have 3 Seahawks on my roster because I have DK, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and then now Ken Walker. So I had to turn around and drop Ken Walker to fill up the tight end depth that I needed this year. So I swooped up TJ Hawkinson, which I was happy to do. And then Jacoby Myers dropped in to pick up him, and then you went and grabbed Ken Walker right away. Smart guy.
Well, and then I dropped
him.
Yeah,
Isaac Corenda. Gotta love it, right? This is the week of a fantasy football player right here, guys. Like, pick up now I'm gonna drop that guy. There's another guy.
Yeah. That's exactly how I was like, nah.
Gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. That's why we do this to ourselves. All right, let's go look at B. Bennett's squad, guys, and see what he had to give up to us. So we are going to have the opportunity to go after Baker Mayfield, Alvin Kamara, Bijan Robinson, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Kittle, C.D. Lamb, James Conner was his starter for the week. And then on his bench, he had the magnificent Sam Darnold, who came out of nowhere, Justin Herbert, Derrick Henry, Jaden Reed, Nico Collins, Sam Laporta, and Jonnu Smith. So there's quite a few players on there that are going to be definite players that are going to be targeted. The thing about this league, guys, is none of us have a single shekel, as Scott would say.
I have $5, and Tortoise has $3.
No, you don't. What are you talking about? I thought we were all broke in this league.
Oh, is this the league we're broke in?
I'm almost positive everybody's broke. Yeah, there's
maybe that's the other one.
You have big zero right there next to your name.
That means you have the other one. The other lead that we were talking about, I have $5 and Trevor has $3 that me and Trevor are both in. Sorry, I get confused because I'm in all three. I just can't keep them all aligned. I know it's pretty easy for you when you're like, oh yeah, I've been paying attention to this.
You know, I've tried to mention it enough to keep your bragging at a minimum, and I thought I had done a successful job up until now.
I mean, hey, you gotta brag a little bit when you make it through the guillotine. The gulag of 14 people getting eliminated in 3 different leagues. Hey, it's pretty good if you ask me.
Dude, I hope you get the turd team of the week all 3 playoff weeks in all 3 leagues.
That would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy.
That would be pretty epic. That would be like the ultimate turd. I will mail you the turd team outfit for that podcast episode if that happens.
I would wear it too. I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Oh, I love it. So yeah, so again, like I said originally, all of us have no money in this league. So all of those players, basically, we're gonna be going off of waiver priority. So if you look over here, you can see these little parentheses next to our teams. It's really small for you guys, I'm sure, but basically that's gonna tell you exactly where we're at on waiver priorities over each other. So it looks like the one who's definitely not gonna get their first choice is me, since I'm last. Right, so it's gonna go. I'm last with the 18th waiver priority. I believe looks like Trevor would be next with the 15th. So he would be basically he would be the 3rd on priority list. Looks like you might be first. Let me just double check.
I didn't put any waivers in this past week. So instead of I saw you drop Kenneth Walter, and instead of putting in a waiver, I had to wait till he dropped. So I kept my waiver wire position. So I, was first no matter what this week.
So it's TB76 is the other one, and he is at 16. So it's going to start with you. You're going to get your first guy, TB76. We'll get his guy, Trevor, next, and then I'll get the bottom of the barrel for the top players.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does it go? It will go 1 through 4, and then 4 through 1, or will it go 1 through 4, 1 through 4, 1 through 4 for the pickups?
It's probably gonna once you waiver pick up, you're gonna go to the bottom of the list.
Yeah, exactly. But does it count because I'm at the top? And then it'll go to the next person, and they go to the next person.
It's gonna be just like it normally is for a redraft waiver setup. As soon as say we'll give an example. So it's gonna be the 4 of us, like the order that we just talked about. So you, TB, Trevor, me. So the first 4 guys are gonna go off the board like that. So once you get your guy, you're going to go to the bottom. And then once he gets his guy, he's going to go below you. And then Trevor's going to go below him. And then I'm going to go below Trevor. And then you're first. Yeah.
So I get 1st, 5th, 9th, whatever else. 1st, 5th.
Yes, that's what I'm assuming. I mean, this is the way Sleeper has it set up.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it went like that.
If it goes any different than that, then we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. But I'd be surprised because that's what I anticipate that Slippery settings are set at. So it's the standard waiver order style, because it's like if you pick up your waivers on a standard redraft league and everybody's picking up, that many guys that are getting claimed, it would probably work the same way.
Gotcha.
So we're looking at TB's team. So that's pretty much the breakdown on there. I wanted to pull up his squad one more time real quick just to kind of say, so out of the 4 players, I would have to assume Robinson, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Kittle, CeeDee Lamb, Derrick Henry, Nico Collins. I'd probably put all of those guys in that mix for that 4 group.
It's going to be a tough one to figure out who you – because I get first pick, so it's not like I have to actually decide. Y'all are just on, who's ever in second is going to have to decide who's in second. But, 4th, you're just going to get the luck of the draw between basically those 4 guys that you want. But I have to actually go in and decide who I think will be at the top of the, out of those 4 guys or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's
well, I
gonna be a
mean,
little
but you get the choice. You get to just decide
yeah.
who is
Yeah,
your top guy, and
yeah,
you get it.
exactly, yeah.
Like we have it worse than you because we have to figure out who's going to be the 3 that go and who's the guy that I want to make sure is the top guy of 4 for me that I know I'm going to be able to get. You know what I'm saying? So like, who's the 3 that I think are out of reach, and they're I'm still gonna put them at the top, but they're most likely out of reach.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure the 4th guy is the fucking dude I want for sure. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like that's tougher for me to figure out than for you to just be like, Bijan.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be off the top of my head. I mean, I have to look at I think it has to do with your roster right now too, right? Because if you're weak at quarterback,
right.
I mean,
This is your
Baker's
roster right next to him, so I mean, we can look at it right there. I see you got Tony Pollard and James Cook, both of them. I wouldn't, the way James played this week anyway. I would be a little concerned.
Well, it's not even that the way he played; it's how much he played. I think I texted you. Is like, where the hell is James Cook? Because he was like off the field for like 2 whole quarters. I mean, it was just ridiculous. They had, Ty Johnson catch that long touchdown. He caught a long touchdown before that, or had a long run that got called back. It was just like James wasn't even playing until like the 4th quarter with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't understand it either. There's been a lot of chatter amongst the Bills, press and stuff that I listened to about what happened with James and why they just completely abandoned him basically in this game. And, especially being that the Rams were a team that was getting ran all over on by a lot of other teams throughout the season. So that it's just even more perplexing. But, I think it kind of got to the point for Buffalo with their defense playing the way they were that they kind of felt almost obligated to allow Josh the opportunity to be Josh because they needed that they weren't going to be able to keep up if they didn't. And basically Josh said, okay, I'm just going to be Superman. And he did everything he could do. But, you miss 1 or 2 passes. Yeah, you anticipate that's going to happen. But, when you do what he did and you still can't come away with a win, then he's not the reason. Yeah. So, that I think not involving the run had a lot more to do with game script, but I don't think it was the right choice. I think that at a certain point in time, the way that they were running up and down our defense, like we needed to give a little bit more of a rest and a longer run first drive for our defense in order to kind of regroup. And that never really happened because it was just big play after big play after big play, which you can't be mad when you score a touchdown, but it's also like, crap, now my defense going back out there and they just had like 2 minutes to rest.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was very perplexing how much he played, in my opinion.
But so like running back could definitely be a need for you, and there's some pretty solid ones out there.
Yeah, so, I mean, Bijan and Henry come to the top of my list probably for sure.
Yeah, because you don't have like amazing depth at that position either. It's not like there's like any superstars that were on a buy for you like a Derrick Henry or anything. So
yeah, I'm pretty strong at quarterback. I think I had what I have Tua and Tua. Yeah, Lamar and Tua. They've been playing lights out, both of them. Tight end, I have Kelsey. So I'll need another tight end, but I don't know if I'm going to be putting in one of those guys at my top of my list. And then,
yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out, man. Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting for everybody in this one, knowing that even though you have no money, you're going to be able to snag a player. It's not like the other league where everybody's like, "All right, Chief, who are you going to take?" And then, well, I guess we'll get what's left.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, let's go. One last league to talk about today is our triathlon game. And I must confess to you guys, based on what I explained to you on my weekend, I have not even had a chance to look at this league yet. So I have no idea what happened in this week. Connor, if you have more insight, please feel free to take over.
So I think there's a lot of, decently scored teams, but I don't think there's really any doubt of who was getting eliminated. I think it was always going to be Ken, and I think it was always going to be short stacked. I think there might have been a chance for Ken to stay if he won, like very slim, but I think it was just like always going to be them.
Yeah, it looks like
because their record was.
It looks like Trevor was close, maybe, and TB might have been close by with the one extra game on them, but I'm not sure if they won their matchups to make that the case or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the dealer Ken was basically always going to get eliminated. He basically had to win against the median and win his matchup. and had to have Tortoise lose both or one.
And you couldn't throw him a bone and set a different roster starting, huh? You just had to go ahead
and then short stack had to win and have two other people lose for him to even think about it. And he was sitting there pretty low at points. So it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that they were both going to get eliminated unless something absolutely wild happens. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. And, guys, I know that we've talked about this before, but we're going to bring it up again because we know that it's kind of like, oh, man, that stinks to go into a week knowing that you're basically out anyways. But the next version, we'll call it Triathlon 2.0 right now, the teen years. I like that name, actually. We might keep that one. But that new triathlon setup that we have, guys, it's going to be a lot different. And maybe I'll give you a sneak preview here at the very end real quick. Maybe we'll pull that up for you guys, and I'll kind of show you a little bit of a breakdown because I'm really excited about it. But it's not going to incorporate the standings in this type of setup. So you guys aren't going to be, getting any kind of oh man, I'm definitely out this week scenario, unless you're in basically the playoffs by that point, way that's going to be set up. So you guys will see here in a second. I'm going to show you guys because, I'm happy about it. I'm excited. I want you to see it. But yeah, that's basically going to be something you want to worry about moving forward. Based on what we just talked about, we'll look at those two teams here in a second. And let's look at what happened last week. You had Amon Ra going off the board for 15. AJ went for 14, so those were our top two guys. Ken went for $11, which that hurts right now, knowing what's going to happen or what's happening with him and his injury scenario. We're kind of up in the air on. Kyler Murray went for $6. JSN went for $6. Good pickup there for you. Jay Morris picked up DJ Moore for 4. Amari Cooper went off the board to Tortoise for 3. Isaac Arendo went off the board for 3. That was a solid pickup based on his performance too. Jameis Winston, that's the guy who's shockingly going to be winning leagues, it feels like, this year, got picked up. And then you got a bunch of guys, Anthony Richardson, Trey Tucker, Najee Harris, Debo Samuel, Geno Smith, Ramondre Stevenson, Rasheed White, Kyle Pitts, Javonte Williams, all got picked up for free. Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and Zach Ertz. You had a few guys gotten dropped after that. That's probably all based on like people that were, not looking like they were going to play that week. And then you had a few last-minute pickups that weren't anybody to really concern too much over. So it really wasn't any kind of craziness going there. You did end up having a Chuba Hubbard sighting that was pretty surprised that he was still there. Looks like he might have got dropped and picked up because he was bid on midweek, along with Mac Jones, Devin Singletary, and Braylon Allen, all people that everybody thought was, going to have a starter ahead of them or something of that nature, and they wanted to make sure they had the depth covered. So that is this league here. We are down to, what are we at now? We're going to have 8 teams left, guys, after this week. So we'll have more information on the next progression of this one here because the best ball stages are coming up for this one. So as soon as that gets started here, we'll talk about that here coming up for you guys. I don't believe it's this week. I believe it's next week. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, Connor.
I don't know the way it's set. It says 8. So I think this is the last week, but y'all are, it was y'all's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, this was, because of the new setup is different, and I've been focusing on that so much. It's hard for me to bounce back and forth between what we had originally done with this setup to get this together in time, because we came up with this idea and put this league together within a few weeks before the season started. So we didn't have a lot of time to make sure that we had all of our T's crossed and I's dotted before we launched it, and which is why it's free and why it's, a pilot episode kind of scenario. So that's basically what we're doing with it. So I'll double check for you guys, and we'll have more of an update next week, whether it's best ball or not, one way or another. It'll be set up and we'll go over it so you guys can see how it plays out. But yeah, let me go ahead and pull this back for you guys real quick, because not only am I going to pull that screen back and go back to here, but I'm also going to pull the curtain back for you guys and let you in on a little bit of a Ballsville secret, spoil a little bit, something that I don't know for sure if I'm supposed to show you guys yet. I might get in trouble. Who knows? Alex might come down yelling at me, telling me, why did you show everybody this? We're not done with it yet, you stupid idiot. I'm going to say, Alex, I didn't want to hold anything back from our listeners. I felt like They needed to know. I wanted them in the know, and I thought this was a great way to go about it. And I feel like once I talk to him, I think he'll feel the same way. What about you, Connor? You think he'll agree?
No, I'll still think you're a stupid idiot, but
I mean, we're not debating whether I'm a stupid idiot or not. We're talking about whether Alex is going to be upset with me or not. Come on.
That was what I took from that. My bad. No, I think Alex will be fine with it.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just trying to find this sheet for you guys because I had it open on my computer up until we started this morning, and because I did not think I was going to show you guys this, I closed it, and now I have to go and reopen it. So here it is. Oh, and of course, my scroll bar went to the wrong one, so we're going to click on the right one this time. All right, guys, I'm really, really, really excited to show you this. And I just want to make sure that it's in the proper screen format for you to see. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Triathlon 2.0. Bum, ba, da, bum, 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 bum. So, and again, guys, this is a work in progress. We are in the process of building the sheet currently. So if you see something on here that's like freaking you out right now, cool your jets, wait it out. We're going to launch a full version of this here soon, but this is just a little preview for you guys, a little sneak peek for our loyal audience that's still with us here at the end. So what we're looking at here is a breakdown of basically the overall breakdown. It's very zoomed out so you guys can kind of get an overall bird's eye view of the way that we set this up. So we're going to have each leg is going to have two leagues, two separate leagues, a League A and a League B for each leg. It's going to start out with two 12-team leagues. We're going to draft, standard redraft style for the first 8 weeks, just like we're doing in our one now. And we're going to play through that with there's roster sizes listed and all that. I'm not going to go in depth with all that stuff right now with you guys because it's not necessary. But I just want to give you the overall breakdown of the setup. So once you get through that section, that's going to be based on league median and matchups. You're going to be seeded based on those matchups, right? So say you end up with the top seed in League A because you have the best matchup amount. You're going to win that section, so you're going to get a $25 payout for winning that. First top two, seed 1, seed 2 are going to get those. And then that's going to be your seeding for the bracket in the best ball. The guillotine portion will not affect your seeding for the playoff bracket. That is only based on your matchups. Once you're done with that, you're going to move right into this. Now, we thought about giving in some people bye weeks. No, we're not doing that. Guillotine is meant every single team could be eliminated. I don't care if you scored the best in the redraft portion. That doesn't matter here. You could be eliminated if you have a bad week. I'm sorry, but that's how guillotine works. That's what makes it so much fun. So that's how we're going to have this set up. So if you make it through that section, yeah, you're going to get the benefits. You're going to get your good seating. You've already got your $25 payout, and now you're in the playoff bracket too. So you're going to reap some pretty good benefits from being the top seeded team. So don't act like you're not going to get anything for being there. It's going to be worthy, trust me. And so what's going to happen is after that portion, the 12th team gets eliminated immediately going into the first week of guillotine. And then one team each week from that point forward, so where each league has 8 teams left. After that, each of those 8 teams, based on matchups, seeding, tiebreaker is going to be points for. They're going to be seeded 1 through 16, and it's going to go into an NCAA-style best ball bracket. It's going to play it down just like that. You're going to play it just like you do in the NCAA, baby. We're going Sweet 16, we're going Elite 8, we're going Final 4, and we're going championship game. And as you make it through each round, you're going to get a payday. Weeks 14, if you get through the first round of the bracket, you're going to get paid $25. You get to the second round of the bracket, you're going to get paid, or third round, I'm sorry, the Elite 8, you're going to get, Elite 8 gets 25. The round of 4 gets 50. The final round, they're each going to get 100 plus. They're going to split the pot percentages based on first and second place. The winner goes into a final week 17. $100 of their winnings go into a week 17 Battle of the Champions 1 week payout that is based on consider it like a poker style payout structure. However many brackets we have, however many champions we have, is going to be however many people are going to get paid out. If there's 15, we're going to pay out the top 4. If there's 20, we're going to pay out the top 6. If there's, so on and so forth. It's going to be just like how any kind of a poker tournament would work out. So that's where our Ballsville poker style comes into play here, guys. So I know it sounds kind of confusing. We're going to have all this broken down. We're going to try to have this visual available for you guys on the website so that you can really kind of get into the nitty gritty of it. But I really wanted you guys to see it because I'm really, really excited. I think this is going to be something that is going to work out really, really well and eliminate some of the issues we've had with our current setup. So a little bit of a preview there. What do you think, Connor? I know it's the first time you're seeing it too.
Yeah, I think it looks great. The only thing I would say is, or I mean, it might, why, just question, why would you have the redraft first and then the guillotine? Why would you not have the guillotine?
Sure we thought about that initially too. The reason we did it that way is because we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get to the guillotine and have a good 8 weeks of a season without feeling like, oh my gosh, I signed up and I'm out week 1. We wanted people to have a chance to do that and also give you a chance to build your roster. And it kind of changes your perception on how you spend your waiver money because the waiver money does not roll over. The waiver money is one amount for the whole season. So however you spend your money in a redraft is going to affect your guillotine, just like we're dealing with now.
The only reason I would see a problem with that, and like I said, I mean, if you get the first seed in redraft, I mean, you spent 8 weeks of your season and you're in first, like you're going 8-0, and then you have like a bye week mania week 9, and you're the first week of guillotine, and then you're out.
That's your problem. You say you got to set your team up for that, baby. That's why guillotine is so fun, dude. I mean, you can be the top. Like, look at our boy Ray. He got eliminated in the guillotine league. He was a top team in the guillotine league almost all season. And he was one of the top scorers almost every week, and then boom, he was gone the week before the playoffs start.
Yeah, the only thing is I feel like that diminishes the redraft.
Well, we can talk about that later. I didn't bring this up, so
I'm not arguing. I'm just simply asking that why I set up like this.
To me, I like the redraft in the beginning because I want you guys to have a nice 8-week time to build a good squad and feel like you have a chance to move your team forward. If you have a bad first week in the guillotine, then that's your fault for not setting your team up properly. That's why you have 8 weeks to do it. So I don't think it's right to have any team not available for elimination in the guillotine league. It doesn't mean that that's not something that you guys could convince me of between now and the time that we launch this in 2025. But as of right now, I feel like every team, part of the love that I have for guillotine and that I've, gotten from people that I've played with is the fact that it does not matter. It's a week-to-week playoff pretty much for every single team. And I don't want anybody to feel like they're, a team's getting a benefit or a team is, getting slighted because somebody's getting a bye week.
I'm not even saying that's not even my critique, though. My critique would be have guillotine first. You go down to 6 teams, then you do redraft, and that divides your seeding, and then you put the seeding in the best ball. That way, you have the same 6 teams. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I
don't think that's, to me, it doesn't sound like that would be. I'd rather have my team for 8 weeks so I can play with it. I mean, and I say play with it, I mean like move players around and jockey for position and spend fob if I need to make sure that I'm in the right position for when the time comes. If I'm sitting at the top seed and I'm already sitting there with a good matchup schedule and I know I'm going to be near the top of the end of the redraft schedule, if I'm not setting up my team for week 9, week 10, week 11 when it comes for guillotine, then that's me not being a good manager of this style of league. That's something that you just have to learn as you play. I don't think that putting the guillotine first is going to change. I mean, I think it's going to change it to the point where it's not going to have the same kind of impact. The redraft portion.
What do you
mean? That makes sense? Like if we move redraft to the front, I don't want to go into this too much. That's not why we're doing this, but we can talk about that later. I literally only brought this up so that we could kind of have a little preview of it. I didn't want to get into a breakdown on what's better or not because we've had those discussions on the back end, and that's. This is where we came out to at this point. So I think that's probably going to be something we'll run with as of right now. But, we got time to work on this. So, but what I really liked about it is I like the fact that we have League A and League B working together to combine into that 16 brackets because nobody's going to be allowed to be in both leagues. We're going to have 24 separate teams. And basically what we think we're going to do for this is we're going to actually put everybody into a 24-team pool. So we're going to sign up 24 teams when we start it, and we're going to rando 12 and 12 so that you can't play with your friends. You can't, set anything up like that. you guys can both sign up for the same one, but you might end up in a different league than them, or you might enter the same league, but you don't know. So we feel like that's going to be the fairest way to set it all up, and hopefully it works out great. I'm sure there'll be bugs, but we'll work on them as we go along. It's a work in progress, and we're all building this together. All right. So I hope you guys had fun watching that little argument between me and Connor there.
It's not arguing. It's just you asked me my opinion. I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh yeah, let's Dre. I'm not that person. So.
Well, you could give me oh yeah, no, it looks cool. And then when we end this, we could have talked about it,
I mean, I did. I said that looks great. I just have one question about it.
Oh man, this is why you guys love us, because we never get along. It's
I didn't think those arguments. It's just
like oil and water. I'm just teasing you, bro. What do we got, Cheeky, over here? You got any little tidbits for us, Cheeky, before we go? Because I know you're out of both leagues now. So, is there anything you want to say before we sign off here, Cheeky? Any kind of we love you and you guys suck because you're still in the guillotines and I'm not, or anything like that? You're more than welcome to type it out. We won't be hurt. It's okay.
That's enough bragging. That's enough bragging from you over Cheeky.
Poor Cheeky. All right, bro. Hey, we appreciate you. I hope you're there next week, even though you're not in the league. I hope you come and watch, because we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about these playoffs. So you guys know, for next week and the couple weeks during the playoffs, since we're not really gonna have a ton of craziness, we're gonna talk about what the scores are. We're gonna show you guys updates, but we're gonna focus our time on talking about some things from the regular season that we learned and that we might do differently moving forward. And some of those kinds of things. We'll come up with a few fun little segments for you guys that we can go over. And if you guys got anything you want us to talk about, go ahead and post in your league thread, any kind of topics or segments you guys want us to go over. We'd like to, talk about anything that you guys want to hear. So give us some good ones and we'll put together a nice show for you guys. All right. So thank you guys so much for being here. Again, this is our Chopping Block podcast. You're going to be back again with us tomorrow for the Ballsville podcast. We're going to break down anything and everything Ballsville. And right now is going to be all of our playoff breakdowns, baby. Our seeding is locked. Everybody's in. We're going to know who's in and who's out. And we are going to cover all of that tomorrow at 4 p.m. on our Ballsville pod. So thank you guys so much for joining us here today. For myself, Big Smelly, Sklem, and my co-host, C-Bomb, thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you later.
Later.